Hello. Because of the weather forecasts, I have a story. I was unprepared, and I hope that other people aren't unprepared. Down south, I'm not. I'm just getting snow, which is not a big deal. But there's so many people that might not be prepared for what they could possibly get. We don't know until I don't believe it until we get it. But years ago, back in 2008. We had an ice storm that was really, really bad, and I wasn't prepared. I had no gas for my um, propane fireplace, so I couldn't run it. I don't know, and I was using this little tiny wood stove that's more for a garage or something. It was just really small, and I was new to running a wood stove. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that I needed better wood to put in it. I might have could have made it a little warmer, but it was getting down to 50 degrees on a constant. That I couldn't get any higher than 50 degrees. Which is like, I look back, it's just all this weather stuff has made me reminisce, and I'm just so grateful for where I am now, because back then I was not prepared. I had not gone to the store, and I hadn't been wasn't stocked up on much of anything. I did have food, but I didn't have enough to get through days of no power and not being able to leave the house because we couldn't go anywhere. There was power lines down, the roads were off, and it took, I think, 5 or 6 days for me to get power back. And during that time, I mean, yeah, the winter, I've learned, that the refrigerator was fine because you just put your stuff outside in a cooler, and you can preserve that. But heat was just such a miserable place. I put my recliner in front of my wood stove and wrapped up in a blanket and slept there because it was way too cold anyplace else in my home. It's very, the insulation's really bad in a mobile home. And this is a very old mobile home, maybe 1976, I think. And it's got a lot of damage underneath from critters and cats and who knows what else. So it's not insulated good, and it's just, you couldn't just huddle down in 2 rooms with my dogs sleeping around me, because I had the dogs back then. And it was just super miserable. And after 2 days of no power, because I was like, oh, I'll probably get power back in a couple of days and it won't be out that long, but it was just stopped everything around, the grocery stores. And I mean, I don't know if the grocery stores were open, but I mean, yeah, I couldn't get out of here. There was no leaving. And then finally, after 2 days, my daughter's boyfriend brought me over a propane heater, the ones that people use in garages. It just blows out the heat. It's like a tube thing. I don't know what it's called. And that just warmed up the whole place, and it was awesome. And it got me through. They brought me over some snacks, and I made it through it. But ever since then, after that happened, and I was stuck at such a place of just being so unprepared. I had never ever experienced being that cold for that long. You're sure you get your warm coats and stuff, but it's just not fun. So I made sure that I was prepared from then on. 2008 that happened. And now I made sure I got myself a bigger wood stove. I don't ever want to be cold like that again. I got it running good today because boy, it's cold out there. It got really cold last night. Gonna be a cold week. Got myself a good wood stove. Sometimes I save ice out in my wheelbarrow so that if my power goes out, I have ice to put in my fridge and my freezer, just so I don't have to put it outside in the cooler. But if you have to, that's not a big deal. I have a heated blanket that my daughter bought me for Christmas this year. which I don't need it, but it's nice to have and nice to know that if anything happened, I do have that. And I don't go to the grocery store and just buy a little bit. During the wintertime, I make sure I'm stocked up on certain things. Um, because you just don't know if you're going to get stuck home for a week and you're not going to be able to get out. So that's just a normal way to live now. I don't have to even think about that. If I see something on sale, I'll buy extra. Um, that's just part of my normal life now. And I guess going through things like that, um, you just learn a different way to live, and you learn to take care of yourself better. And living alone, there's not anybody else. I mean, yeah, sure, my family would show up. They have shown up when I've had things happen that I need the help with, which is, I'm so grateful I have that. I can't imagine living alone and not having that option. So it's just, I learned so much from that. So much. And when your power goes out, you got no lights. And I was having candles going, and those oil lanterns, and they stink. I don't like them at all. So now I have lots of solar lights. I have little battery operated lights for in the house. I have solar lights outside that I could bring in that are charged. That would get me through a couple of nights. And I even have those fairy lights. Those I found at the swap shop. But I have another set that I bring camping with me. And I have lanterns that I bring camping with me. So I'm so stocked up on light now, because I think it's when the power goes out and you have no light, that seems to bother me more than, well, not as much as being cold, but it's still something that I've made sure that I have now. You don't have to go without. You just got to think about it. And I guess sometimes you just don't think about it until it happens, and then it changes how you look at your life. It changes how you take care of yourself. And I take much better care of myself now, but I had never had the experience of anything like that. All the places I've ever lived, even when I lived like 10 miles away, we never had power out for a week. Power out for a week can be quite the struggle. I mean, it was good there was no work, no school, didn't have to go out anywheres, but yeah, it was quite the experience. But I learned so much from that experience that now I am just sitting here this time, because we're going to get a lot of snow, supposedly. You can't, they say we're going to get a lot, but who knows, it's really wait and see. But I can sit here and be cozy and warm and know that if the power goes out, I'm perfectly fine. I will get through it. I'll just watch it and shovel, and it's a much more relaxing experience now than it was back then. Because after that happened, I just got kind of like, oh, I'm not ready if we get a big storm. And that was December 11th in 2008. And I think there was like over 1 million people out of power. And it was for a week. Some people more than a week. That was amazing. And that, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight out here. It was the ice in the trees was absolutely gorgeous. I remember just being out there looking at everything and being just so in awe of all of it. So it was a good side of it, but there was also that side that was like, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing here. And that's what this living here alone and not living with less than a lot of people have. Pretty sure I had running water back then, but I'm pretty sure the water froze. I can't really remember if I had running water back then. But if I did, it froze, so I didn't have any water. I just was not prepared in any way. And now I am super prepared, and it's going into it is so much more relaxing and less stress, because I know I can get through any kind of weather that comes through. And so I just wanted to share that story. I have another one, but it wasn't winter time. I can't if I remember any other winter ones, but that was the most severe that I have ever been through. Um, and I got through it, and I learned so much from that. And I'm so grateful right now that I learned everything and that I'm so better prepared. That you don't have to go through it in an awful way. You can go through it and just watch it. You know, even if we were getting ice, I would not be in a stressful, worried state of mind. And my state of mind is very relaxed and peaceful and stress-free right now. And that's a much better place to be. So hopefully everybody out there is prepared if they're in a place where they're going to get the ice, because the ice is worse than snow, I think. But I guess if you're not used to the snow, it could be hard on you too, but I'm very used to snow. Snow doesn't bother me. Anyway, take care, and if I come up with another story of winter, I will share it. But that was the biggest one that I've had, and a really big teacher, and I'm so grateful. I wasn't at the time, but I am now. Okay, take care. See you next time.